dust is in my eyes, my blood is on the ground. Quiet little chuckle and the shuffling of the boots of the coward that shot me down. He turns toward the sunrise and I hear him softly say, I guess you've met your macho man as the colors fade to gray.
Howdy, partners. Dust and Blood is a rabble-rousing, rootin'-tootin', bronco-bustin' podcast not suitable for the ears of young'uns. Take a gander at the content warnings and listen with care.
Welcome to Dust and Blood, a narrative play podcast set in the wild, weird fantasy West. I'm Blake, your GM, and our players are Keith Curtis as Jasper Graves, Corinne Hill as Myra Sting, Zach Parker as Maz Copernicus Pryor, and Gail Parker as Bonesaw. Last time on Dust and Blood, our heroes faced down a troop of mimics to recover the missing inoculations, met a traveling samurai out for revenge, and discovered Wilmington transformed into a terrifying monster. Jumping back in, you see Wilmington Clark, who previously was average-sized snake folk, is now much, much larger. Coils just rolling around, blood and gore spattered across the ground, his face torn open by his own hands. He has a wicked-looking knife in one of his hands and a revolver at his hip. As he lunges forward, I need everybody to roll some initiative for me.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that's a pretty high roll there, Bonesaw.
Ooh,
Myra.
Nat 20.
Nice.
Jasper's just gonna take a nap waiting for the combat to pretty much be over, I'm sure.
And, ooh, that's lucky. Wilmington is at the very bottom.
Nice. I would like to mention right now, before anyone forgets, everyone is currently under the influence of Inspired Courage, so +2 to most of your attack rolls and a few other checks.
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Myra.
She kind of watches in horror as this giant cobra-like creature emerges from Wilmington's body and just kind of reflexively pulls out Ugly and is going to fire Ugly because this is ugly.
That is a 15 and an 18. The first shot, Wilmington just moves out of the way. The second one hits him in the chest, and he kind of looks down and just... No ticket! No ride!
Oh my god. Myra has very much forgotten about the itch on her neck.
Is that Wilmington?
Ain't none new more.
Maz.
Could I cast a spell from behind Bonesaw and from behind Myra?
Yes.
That puts a comfortable amount of distance between me and the big bad, so we're gonna do that. That sounds like a... Oh my god, he's massive! Alright, I thought he would just take up... Okay, no, he's a big boy, alright. Well... cover your ears, damn it! We're gonna cast Sound Burst, so he's going to have to make a Fortitude save.
Yeah, go ahead and make a caster level check for me, please.
21.
Nice.
As the sound burst passes through, it seems like it just skates across his scales. It doesn't even touch him.
Oh, shit.
So a 21 wasn't good enough for that.
Correct.
Alright, well that was a spell. Okay. That's my turn then.
Okay, Bonesaw, you're up.
Are we fighting that thing? As opposed to, running away? Getting the guard? The sheriff?
That's actually a very good point.
Yep, Maz, you're backed up against a window there.
I am? That's a window? Oh, it is a window. Can Bonesaw throw me to safety?
Whether we're running or not, I'm going to give him something to think about on the way. Bonesaw flings an acid bomb into the other room.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
15. It should be versus touch AC.
Oh, it's versus touch AC?
Yes.
That's a miss. It will hit nearby, and he will take the 8 points, and he has to make a DC, looks like it's 17.
Yes.
He snakes up and onto the ceiling as this bomb comes in, and just a little bit of the acid lands on him.
So there! Take that! I have a move action, but I don't want to get closer.
Why not?
He doesn't look very cuddly.
Jasper.
So we're standing our ground. All right, then. Looks like Jasper does have line of sight.
He does.
All right. Then, yeah, both guns out. I'm going to do some two-weapon fighting. Here comes the first attack. Kerblamo. 17 to hit.
Hits. The bullet comes in. It actually sinks in, and you see on this already blood-spattered jacket, another bloom of red begins to grow, but it's a much darker red, almost a black bile red. It also doesn't look like it did as much damage as you would expect.
Well, in for a penny, in for a pound. Here comes the second gun.
Natural.
There's a natural 20.
Crit, 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 crit.
However, on the second shot,
Yes.
the shot just absolutely erupts. And normally you would be doing quadruple damage. You're doing quintuple damage
What?
on this.
5 times?
Yes. So roll one more d8.
I will roll one more d8.
Shit. Go, Jasper.
Another 5.
Holy shit.
I look at my gun in puzzlement.
These crit decks are no fucking joke, y'all.
Oh, no.
It still doesn't look like it did quite as much damage as you expected with how big of a blast it was and hitting. It sinks along some of the meat flesh of his face and takes off a flap of the skin that is hanging behind in this pseudo-cobra.
That shot should have felled a buffalo. He ain't natural.
No shit.
I say an entirely unneeded bit of editorializing there.
Wilmington, standing tall, snakes forward 5 feet. He looks like he's a bit too large to get through this doorway as is. But he lunges out, arms scrabbling, these bone hands trying to pull his bulk through. And as he does, he starts lunging at Myra. And I am so very sorry.
It's okay.
What's your AC right now?
17.
Okay. Please make a fortitude save for me.
26.
He lunges out with his teeth much longer than any Naga you've seen before, and he sinks into you. And as he does, you feel this poison boom course through you. However, it doesn't seem like it grasps into you. It is going to do 12 points of damage initially.
Okay.
These bone claws reach out and scrabble at you, and you're going to take 15 points of damage from those. And then,
Oh boy.
as you're standing there, he kind of... and his tongue suddenly comes out, and it is much longer, and it launches out and wraps around you, Myra.
Oh my god.
His tongue?
What's your CMD?
Cut it off! Cut it off!
That's an idea. My CMD is 25.
As it wraps around you, this slimy, bloody appendage, suddenly something happens to you that has no right to happen to a snake, as it suddenly tightens up. You are grappled and start to get pulled towards him, and he starts to wrap his coils around you.
She is flailing and... Help! Help!
Oh boy.
Help!
And then finally, he takes this wicked-looking dagger and brings it down to hit you right in the chest. However, you manage to move your head out of the way, and he actually brings it down and hits himself in his own leg. And he is going to do a bit of damage to himself.
Oh my god.
So go ahead and set the grappled condition on yourself.
Oh!
That's the thing when y'all are facing single creatures.
Yeah.
I kept thinking his turn was over.
All right. Something happens in the distance.
Wonderful.
Myra, you're up. You are grappled.
She is squirming and screaming and trying to get out of this thing's tongue.
At this point, it's not his tongue. He's like wrapped his coils around you, like a python.
Oh, damn. Can I actually move my arms?
Yeah, you can still attack. You have a -4 penalty to your dex and a -2 on all attack rolls and combat maneuvers, except for grapple.
Okay. Can I shoot with my shotgun? And can I also bite him?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Ugly, which is no longer ugly because the bayonet missed, is that?
With the 17, the gun hits and like you see the bullet sink in.
Mm-hmm.
However, it doesn't look like it did much damage to him.
Shit.
In fact, it doesn't look like it hurt him at all.
Damn it. She grits her teeth and says, fine, you want a taste of your own medicine? And she goes down and bites.
As you bite into him, you feel this like sickening, putrid taste. It reminds you of
bad idea.
when you were young and you came across a dead possum and sniffed it, and it reeks. But while it smells like death, it doesn't smell undead.
Okay.
You bite in and it just starts gushing this red bile.
She instantly takes her mouth off and
Disgusting.
Let me add some red to him so I remember he's bleeding. Maz, you're up.
My guess is Myra doesn't want to be in that situation. Myra, if you'd appreciate it, I think I'm going to just move you to a different part of the room so that you can hopefully be in a safer spot.
Jester's Jaunt is my favorite thing.
I was gonna say, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Myra, you like to dance?
Just not with this guy.
Okay. Probably just put your back here up against the wall. There's a window behind me, right?
Yes.
If I stand still, can I use my tail to sort of punch a hole through it?
He has a knife on it.
Yeah, the tail blade.
Oh, you do have a knife on it. You know what? I'm gonna say, yeah, go ahead. That's a minor enough interaction that you're just punching through. Go ahead and roll an attack for me just to make sure, but like...
It is a 1d2 -1, so... Wow. But actually, it does an additional 2 damage because I'm inspiring myself. I am an excellent fiddle player.
Yes.
So that does 3 damage if it hits.
You easily just shatter the glass, and the window is now open, and you can escape through it.
What sort of dance does Myra do?
We'll say the Macarena for now, until I come up with something better.
Wilmington, as Myra suddenly disappears from his grasp and he shifts to adjust, looks over at you, Maz, and says, Passengers need to pay. Are you going to pay for her?
I think I'll walk.
Walking. Bonesaw, you're up.
Okay, first off, knowledge checks. What can I roll to figure out what is going on with this guy?
Knowledge Dungeoneering would give you the most information.
Excellent. I have that.
However,
Yeah.
it is a very high DC for anybody except Myra.
That's okay. I should try anyhow. I got a 25 knowledge dungeoneering.
With a 25, you get the barest minimum. You have heard rumors, speculation, very small trickles, that there is a disease amongst the Diamondbacks that comes on and turns them into monstrosities. They are referred to as Diamondback Scions. They are aberrations, immune to bleeding effects. They have cold iron damage resistance. And that's all you get from that.
Has anybody got any bloody cold iron for this thing?
All I got is hot lead.
Myra, some of the bullets that you were given when you were in the cave were cold iron.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I got some.
Excellent. In the meantime, let's see if we can get a little blocking going on. Bonesaw shakes up an elixir, pops the cork, and chugs it. And I'm going to cast Enlarge Person on myself.
Oh.
Ain't got a lot of room in here, Bones.
If he's going to grab me, it's going to be a lot harder like this. You all just stay to the back and keep pot-shotting. Hello, ugly, come after me.
The 12:45 to Abaddon is coming your way.
Just don't squeeze too tight.
All aboard. Jasper, you're up.
Well, sir, I ain't got no ticket, but I aim to punch yours. Blam, blam! Holy crap!
Natural 20.
Oh my
That's
god.
2 in a row!
Oh shit.
Oh my god.
However, he is close enough that he makes an attack of opportunity.
What?
Oh, I forgot he has reach.
Yes, he does.
Should have made that 5-foot step first.
As you fire, he lunges out past you, Bonesaw, and scrapes Jasper across the face for 7 points of damage.
All right. But I still get my kablamos in.
Yes, you do. Your first shot, boom, straight up under his arm, and you see it, the bullet travel under his skin as it just all the way up his body, doing 47 points of damage. And roll 1d6 for me, please.
Alrighty.
Ooh.
5.
As you fire, boom, it blasts him backwards.
Whoa!
And you see just Snake body flailing back as he is flung backwards by this. That does a hell of a lot of damage to him. However, on that nat 1,
Yeah.
your gun misfires,
Oh no.
and it backfires, and you are confused for 1
Oh
round.
no.
What does confused mean?
You treat all creatures as neither allies nor enemies.
Okay.
If you are attacked, you attack that creature until it is dead. At the beginning of your turn, roll D percentage to determine how you act, and it's as you expect. It's the act normal, babble incoherently, hurt yourself, or attack the nearest creature.
Can I still take that 5-foot step?
Yes, I think that's reasonable. Like, you knew, like, I was gonna walk over here.
All right, cool. Blam! And then he just kind of like, the gun blams in his hand and he kind of involuntarily steps backwards from it.
Wow, you've really got him.
What? I did what?
Jasper?
What? Where's Jasper?
Oh no.
Why am I sounding like Maz? I'm very confused.
I'll do you one better. Wise, Jasper.
Wilmington steps forward, and as he does, you see this blade in his hand takes on this green sheen as he begins to slither forward, and he once again lunges at you. Bonesaw, go ahead and make a fortitude save for me, please.
Which I have +2 from Inspire Courage.
His teeth sink into you.
Ooh.
28!
Oh man. Fuck.
Suck it.
The DC for this is so high, and both of you have rolled so high.
Super lucky.
Bonesaw, you're gonna take 8 points of damage from that bite. 2 claws sink into you for 21 points of damage.
Ouch.
He reaches out to wrap you up in his tail. You're gonna take 4 points of damage, and then what's your CMD right now?
21.
Okay, he wraps you up and starts squeezing you as you are captured.
You know, this isn't as fun as you made it look, Myra.
It wasn't fun at all.
So you are grappled. And then finally, He's going to stab at you with his toothpick and critically hits.
Oh no.
You take 17 points of damage, and then please make a DC 16 will save for me.
10.
I believe that should be 12.
That's still too low.
Yeah.
Oh, is that for my thing?
No.
Oh, because I think when I take critical damage, I have to make a will save or else Ash comes out.
Okay, let me go through what happens when you have been stabbed by this.
All
of you look at Bonesaw, who suddenly goes stock still. And Bonesaw, you start to remember how y'all came in here. You were coming in, and Maz said, all right, so we're gonna rob this guy, right? We're gonna take everything that he has. Myra said, yep, we're gonna take him, kill him, and loot his body for everything he's got. And then you tried to say, oh, no, we can't do that. We can't, kill this guy. And Myra says, shut up, you old undead fuck. How dare you talk back to us?
Whoa, that's so rude.
Moss says, yeah, lucky that we keep you around. Maybe we'll take care of you next. Take that mask from you.
Oh my god.
And Jasper says, yeah, I think that sounds like a good idea. We could all get on him. He's probably got some valuable shit in his pockets.
What?
And you remember as you're coming in, starting to fight these folk, and they were throwing you around and pushing you into breaking a bench and getting up against. And this last minute, you remember Wilmington saying, don't worry, I'll protect you from these folk, and wraps you up in his protective coils.
I thought they were my friends. They've been so nice.
You have been affected by the Modify Memory spell.
Oh, shit.
And the past 5 minutes are that.
Wow.
You are not under any compulsion to do anything about it, but that is what you remember happening as you were coming in.
Bonesaw snuggles into this nice, strong hug. I can't believe they would do that to me.
I know. That's why you never trust a non-railroad man, wouldn't you say?
Well, I don't know about that, but...
And then go ahead and make a will save for your for Ash.
Yeah, it's a DC 25.
Jeez.
Wow.
It's probably a good thing. 22.
Ooh.
Almost had it.
As Bonesaw is sinking into Wilmington's coils, suddenly Ash, knowing that this is going wrong, that something is wrong, rushes to the forefront.
Ah,
Can somebody stay in a recognizable state for at least 5 minutes?
And that is the end of Wilmington's turn.
I have an ability called Restoring Change, where I regain hit points when I change into my mutagenic form or out of my mutagenic form. So I just got 15
that
hit
is
points
useful.
back. Yeah.
Nice.
Bonesaw's lenses flare red as Ash comes into his large form and starts fighting against the coils. Is Ash fooled by the Modify Memory?
That is an interesting question.
Ooh.
I would say,
New saving throw?
yeah, make a new saving throw, and we'll see if it carried over to Ash's brain.
22?
Oh, much better.
I think Ash still has those memories. Those are the memories that have been modified, and that is how he remembers that now. However, Ash, being able to see kind of the whole arc, sees the sudden change in Maz and Myra and Jasper's demeanor, and it is very starkly different than how they've acted.
Bonesaw, you idiot.
All right, it is Myra's turn, top of the round.
Okay. You had said that everybody except for Myra wouldn't really know what this is. Now that she's looking at it, does she know what it is?
You had rolled last time.
Yeah.
Having seen the Scion, does that...
Yeah.
Could she roll a new save because it maybe jogged some things?
Yeah, go ahead and roll either Knowledge Engineering or your profession, and it is a much lower DC for you.
Dirt, dirt, 18?
Yeah, that is good enough. You've heard about these Scions. You've actually dealt with people who have had to do exactly what you guys are doing right now.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Yeah, you know they have, in addition to the other stuff that you learned from Bonesaw, you know that they are immune to bleeding, and they have spell resistance of 23. And they do have light sensitivity. So if you get him outside, he'll be less effective.
Myra is going to yell, "We need to get him outside! Start heading to the door, crash through the window, whatever you need to do." And she goes to Jasper, hands him 5 cold iron bullets, and she just says, "Use these."
Clatter, 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 clatter.
And then she's just going to, I don't know if she can pull out her rifle and shoot her rifle at the same time.
Yeah, not with the movement, unless you have quick draw.
Oh, I do have quick draw.
Oh, you have quick draw? Then yeah, you can do that.
I forgot I had all these things. Okay. And then she pulls it out, loads cold iron bullets.
You have quick reload? Rapid reload?
I do.
Then yeah,
I have all sorts of
you
stuff.
snake over, toss Jasper the bullets, pull out the rifle as you holster the shotgun.
Amazing.
And this time, as the bullet hits, you see this almost blue palm appear on his chest as the bullet goes in, and he screams this unearthly scream. That is going to be 12 points of damage. Also, you're no longer grappled.
14 with Inspire Courage.
Yeah, so 14 damage, and for the second shot, that would be an 18 to hit, because you're not grappled, plus 2, so that would be 20. His touch AC right now under cover is 21, so that second one does not hit.
So close.
Okay.
Maz, you're up.
You sure we want to get him outside on the street with all the civilians around?
Yes, it'll slow them down. They're weak to sunlight.
As long as I ain't paying damages. So, before Maz attempts to leave the window, I think he's going to say, "Here, catch!" And throw a flaming sphere into the room that Wilmington is currently trapped in.
Ah, fantastic. Go ahead and give me a caster level check, please.
Right. Oh, 23.
23, that hits it.
That is exactly on his spell resistance.
Yeah.
Nice.
So now he has to make a reflex save, DC 16. He makes that. It was a low roll for him. And as the ball lands on him, he's going to take 3 points of damage.
Yeah, not my strongest spell, but it does last a long time.
Yeah, and he is not moving very far because he's holding on to Bonesaw right now.
Yeah, that's the idea. Do I have to do anything to clamber out of this window? Can I just walk through it?
You're a small character, so I'm going to say you don't have to make any sort of check.
There we are. I'll go one more space so people can sort of filter out if they need to.
Okay. Bonesaw, you're up.
Asherel is going to cast Inflict Moderate Wounds. They pull one arm out from the coils and manage to mix up an elixir. It's that roiling black one, and drink it.
All right, go ahead, and as you go to touch, I will need you to make a concentration check.
28.
Okay, concentration check succeeds. Now make a caster level check.
I'm not trying to hit him.
Wait, who are you?
Trying to hit me.
Oh, you're taking it. You're trying
I'm
to hit
trying
you.
to heal
Okay,
myself.
yes.
I know it's an inflict moderate
Sorry.
wounds, but
Understand. Yes. You are able to heal yourself you don't have to do the caster level check.
okay. As a swift action, I will heal for an additional 5, and hopefully that gets me out of the one-shot range.
Okay.
Then Ash will draw the hog splitter and sort of growl over their shoulder. I don't think I'm going to be able to fit out the window, but I might be able to smash him through the wall.
What?
All right. Jasper, make a will save for me.
Okay.
If you succeed, you'll be able to take one action this turn. If you fail,
That's a 23.
23, that succeeds. So you can take an action. You won't be able to full round attack, but you're able to kind of come back from this and still act a little bit during this turn.
All right, then. The things that I would like to do if I had been free of influence were to scoop up the bullets and move through the window. So that I could do one of those two things?
I will say you can do those in the same action.
All
you
right.
just wouldn't have been able to do a full round attack.
All right.
Go ahead and give me an acrobatics check to get out the window.
Oh, acrobatics. Yeah, from my time at the circus. Hold on. There's a 12.
That's enough. It wasn't that hard of a DC.
All right. Hat down. Through what remains of the window.
Yeah, just you shatter out. Next up is Wilmington. He leans in close to Bonesaw and says, "Are you taking the express today?"
I don't understand what that means.
And he jumps into your neck.
Ow.
That is, make a fortitude save.
With +2 from Inspire Courage. 26.
Nice.
26 succeeds, slashes into you, and as he does, he starts to squeeze tighter. Across the constriction, the stab of the dagger, the 2 claws, and the bite attack. It's gonna be 13, 19, 27, 30, 43 points of damage.
Me and my 2 hit points are still conscious.
Oh my god, you're still up!
Oh my god.
We'll get you out of there, Bones!
I am not your companion at the moment.
Oh, quit your whining.
All right, Bonesaw, make a perception check for me.
A 20.
20 is enough for you to hear a of a breaking window and to see a flash from a gun coming in and shooting at Wilmington.
Yay!
Yay.
Reinforcements?
As you see the bronze jackal appearing.
Oh, good.
Oh, thank God.
Somebody set out the jackal signal.
All right, that is the top of the round. Myra, you're up.
She shoots again into his tail and says, "Let him go," with a cold iron bullet.
Are you offering to take his seat for him?
I'm telling you to sit down.
His eyes look at you for a long minute, Myra, and he blinks. We had a good run, didn't we, Sting? We had a good run.
What are you talking about?
He cocks his head and says, "Why'd you do it?"
I didn't do anything.
That's certainly true. You blast 2 shots at him in this moment, and with a 29 and 27, both of these shots with the cold iron shot easily rip through him. That's gonna be 13 points of damage and 19 points of damage.
Okay, so I have 2 cold bullets left.
Yes. Covered in this black bile running down his body. His tone of voice has shifted as he's looking at you, Myra. It's no longer this kind of guttural voice. It sounds familiar, and it sounds way too familiar. Maz, you're up.
Bonesaw or Ash or whatever's about to die, so I think I'm gonna have them do the funky chicken to get him out of there. So we're gonna do Jester's Jaunt again, which is quickly becoming the favorite spell. I think I'm gonna pull Bonesaw out here with Jasper and I, but also it is a move action for me to have the fireball move around. So I believe
perfect.
He should do a saving throw, or like he has the chance of taking damage right now, but I would like to roll the ball into the side of the house to hopefully burn it down so that sunlight can prevail, I suppose.
Okay, yeah, it's going to move. Go ahead and roll a damage attack for him.
Yeah.
He'll roll his reflex save. He succeeds. Go ahead and make a caster level check for me.
Caster level check. I don't like that. Yeah, that's a 12.
Unfortunately, the fire does not seem to touch him as his coils are going everywhere, trying to get back Bonesaw, and he snarls, "You are trying my patience! No hobos on the line!"
Did the wall take damage?
The wall did take damage, yes. It appears to be, it is starting to catch on fire.
Okay.
Bonesaw, you're up.
Ash, who presumably had to do the Macarena to get out of this situation, comes out
Yes.
bloody.
Funky chicken, I changed the tune a little.
Yeah.
Comes out looking bloody, but also disgruntled, and says, "I don't care for that."
Well, you're still alive to be upset about it. Now quit whining.
I am gonna take another inflict moderate wounds. Ash will mix it up and drink, and do another fast heal for an additional 5.
All right, you heal up a little bit. Jasper, it's your turn.
I will load my other revolver, the misfired revolver with bullets, and then shoot the good one this turn.
Okay.
And remembering this is +2 because of the thing. No way! No freaking way! No freaking way!
Holy shit!
Jasper is on
That's
fire.
your third fucking nat 20.
I'm so glad.
Oh, wow.
The only way we're making a dent in this guy.
1 in 8,000 chance.
I know. Well, there were rolls in there that weren't natural 20 scores.
Here's the fun thing.
Yeah.
The card I just drew, it is a penetrating wound.
No.
In addition to its normal damage, it ignores damage resistance.
Get it. That's 50.
That is 50 points of damage straight in. This attack hits right at the base of his neck, and you all just see all across the back wall as he is in some dire straits. He does not look too healthy right now.
Man, without all these crits, I'd be really worried about this fight.
My only sadness is that Myra is still in the room, and we are all outside, and Myra has half health.
I know. I'm coming.
She's 15 feet away. Hopefully that's far enough away to avoid most of the melee.
And he's still gotta get through the door.
It is Wilmington's turn. You see Wilmington, he takes his knife and he runs it across his teeth. And you hear this like clattering just sound. And it is coated in this yellow fluid. He takes it, tosses it in his hand, and throws it at you, Myra.
Oh shit.
Take 4 points of damage,
Okay.
And
and then make a fortitude save for me, please.
there it is.
It is a DC 22.
Oh, that is not gonna cut it. That is a 14.
As it sinks in, you see immediately where it lands. Your skin splitting apart and these yellow lines tracing across your veins. Roll 1d3 for me, please.
Okay.
You take 1 point of constitution damage.
Holy
no.
shit.
Oh no. She, as the knife hits her and her vision starts to go dark a bit for a little bit, and she instantly feels woozy.
So in addition to the damage, you lose 1 of your hit dice worth of hit points.
Oh damn.
Great.
That's his first attack. Or that was his first 2 attacks, because it cost him an attack to do that. You see him turn around at the bronze jackal, who he just was attacked by. He lunges out the window, starts scrabbling. The bronze jackal takes 20 points of damage.
Shit.
And you see giant scratch marks across the mask that seem like they are hanging off. Then, make an acrobatics check to get through. He does.
No!
He barely squeezes through. You see the walls just crack as he squeezes through. Gets up on Myra and starts wrapping her up in his tail.
Oh.
Takes 6 more points of damage.
Oh.
And then what's your CMB?
CMD?
CMD, yeah, sorry.
It's 25.
Okay. You are now grappled again.
Okay.
Jesus.
And that is the end of his turn.
Save me!
We're coming!
As he does this, he leans over you. He is a good 5 feet taller than you, his head brushing against the ceiling, bits of his face and gore just dripping down. An entire section of scales just flops onto your face, Myra. And he says, "You didn't do the time, little Sting. It is time for you to pay." It is the Bronze Jackal's turn. They are going to rush inside and go to take a shot at Wilmington. Oh, they crit.
Hey! Save me, Bronze Jackal!
Wilmington needs to make a fortitude save and succeeds. Oof. He's going to make an attack of opportunity now on the Bronze Jackal. Oof. Bronze Jackal isn't looking too hot either. As they get slashed across the chest and just some of their gear falls to the ground as they are just rended across the chest.
I don't suppose we could get access to their health bar.
Sure.
Oof. Oh no. Good to know. Thank you.
All right. Myra's up.
Myra is struggling against the coils. She's going to pull her rifle out of the coils with a massive grunt and says, "I'll get mine, but not before you get yours." And she shoots her rifle with the last 2 cold bullets.
Yes.
The bullets sink in. And he slumps. His coils slacken on you, Myra,
Oh shit.
as he seems to slump in on himself.
Holy shit.
Is he dead? Blake?
He begins to loosen. The light in his eyes begins to go out. And then it flares up again.
Fuck.
As even more, this gritted resolve grows in him. And as he comes back up to this consciousness, his grip gets even tighter on you, Myra.
Shit.
Great.
Maz, it is your turn.
How rough is this guy looking? I mean, he didn't look good to start off with, but
So here's the thing. He has bullet holes and damage done in him that he should not only be unconscious, he should be dead. Flat out 100% dead. He looks like he is dead and death walking right now.
right. I don't know what to do with that information.
He looks horrible, as in he is beyond death's door, but something is keeping him walking.
Okay, we need some backup. Sheriff, get on that. We're casting random frogs, yay! Sheriff dutifully will get out of his pocket and jump onto my cowboy hat, and with a mighty croak will summon all of his partners and deputies, and we are going to throw a shit ton of frogs at this man.
Yeah, just all of a sudden, you all see a bloop, 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 a whole bunch of frogs just fall out of the sky and shoot in through the room.
I choose to disbelieve.
Myra thinks she is hallucinating.
Okay, it's gonna go ahead and try to attack him.
Ash squints. Something about this looks awfully familiar, but they can't put a finger on it.
Alright, it's going to try and bite him. And it fucking crits! Holy shit!
Get him!
Let's go, Sheriff, let's go!
It crit. He's gonna make a fortitude save now.
Death by frogs.
He succeeds at the fortitude save, so he is not poisoned.
That's fine.
It does 4 points of damage to him.
Plus 2, plus 6 damage. All right, please
Oh,
and
6
thank you.
damage. My mistake, yes.
Yeah.
You have successfully weaponized frogs, my friend. These are military-grade batrachians.
Also, I wanted to move the fireball into the big old snake.
Okay. Go ahead and make a caster level check.
Yeah. That one.
Oof. Unfortunately, the fire does not do anything to him. Bonesaw, you're up.
Ash jabs a finger at the handkerchief around his neck and says, "Flesh creature, I need you to deliver some magic." And
Flesh creature.
don't hiss at me.
Come here. All of you are hearing Goiter just like... Ash is hearing Goiter going, "Why do you keep taking over Boney's body? It's not nice, it's not right. You're nasty, you smell weird."
Do you want to save your friend or not?
Fine, but I expect extra pats for this.
Extra, sorry?
Pats, you know. And he takes one of his appendages and goes blep, blep, blep on top of his head.
Fine. Ash will drink the elixir of cure serious wounds, but transfer the magic to Goiter to deliver to Myra.
Okay.
Sweet.
How far can Goiter move?
Fly 40 feet.
Okay, yeah. Goiter is able to get over and deliver it to Myra.
Yay.
Sadly, it was not as much as I had hoped for.
18. That's not bad. That's not bad.
Oh, that brings me up to 30. That is more than half. Oh, Goiter, so glad I'm seeing you.
Yeah, Myra. What is that big thing? It's a fucking big snake. Oops, I'm not supposed to say that word. That's a flippin' big snake.
It's okay, I can't understand you anyway.
I'm gonna move up next to the wall so I can potentially smash through it next time.
Okay, Jasper, you're up.
All right, well, I take my cue from Bonesaw or Asherel moving in on the window that they're probably intent on advancing, so I won't go up to the window. But I now have a freshly loaded gun in one hand and a slightly depleted gun in the other. So I'm going to shoot the cold iron gun first.
All right.
25 to hit
That hits.
for 15 bludgeoning and piercing.
All right.
This is the cold iron one.
You pull the gun, point it in through the window. Myra is being held in these coils. Goiter is up on her. Wilmington is leaning over her, mouth open, hissing, bile dripping from his mouth, blood spurting down. You line up your shot. Bullet travels just... And behind Myra, right through the skull, is this spatter of blood and viscera and brain matter. He looks down at Myra. "I'm still coming, little Sting." As he starts to burble and fall to the ground. And he doesn't move.
Holy shit, we did it.
Does Jasper say anything badass as he slays this thing?
No, he is stunned. First of all, he wasn't expecting that. Second of all, Myra was just about to get killed. And thirdly, he's still confused as to what is happening to Wilmington. He's still not sure if he's done a good thing or not. So I say, somebody please explain to me what happened to Wilmington. I mean, beyond the explosions with the bullets and the blood and stuff. I mean, the big snaky arm skeleton. Why was he a giant demonic cobra?
Myra, make a fortitude save for me.
Shoot. That is 21.
That is not enough. I need you to roll 1d3 for me, please.
She's still poisoned.
Oh, shit.
1.
Take one more point of constitution damage.
Okay.
And that's to both your max HP and 1 hit dice worth to your current HP.
Okay.
Even as you have pulled out this dagger that he had been carrying, you see the yellow just continuing to spurt and grow throughout. And that itchiness is just growing in you.
Guys, I don't feel so good.
The Bronze Jackal's turn.
Are we still in combat?
We are still in initiative order because this poison has the potential, until it is taken care of doing serious damage to Myra.
Jesus.
Okay.
Shit.
The Bronze Jackal is going to walk over, holding his chest, and just, are you okay? I will say, we don't have to be in strict initiative, so Myra, Bonesaw, Jasper, Moz, you all can make a move.
I'm gonna just move my fireball out of the way of the Bronze Jackal so he can come in.
Okay.
Also, I'm gonna dismiss my frogs with a sharp salute.
May I roll a heal check to understand that Myra is poisoned so we can act on it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Heal check of 19.
Yeah, definitely can tell that she is poisoned. Something that was, when he licked the blade, he transferred some of his Scion poison onto it.
Okay. Ash can't get inside, but across the room, they'll fix the Bronze Jackal in their gaze and say, "Do you have anything for poison? Because Templeton does not. We need to get Myra to a church now."
I do not. You see, he considers. I do not have anything in my safe house, but we can either go to the church, go to Ellie in town. They might have something.
I take it back. I have antitoxin,
Oh, cool.
Ooh,
which gives a +5 alchemical bonus on fortitude saving throws against poison for 1 hour.
ooh, yes.
Ash will say, "Sorry, there is something," and pull out the antitoxin and sort of hand it through the window towards Myra because they still can't bit. I believe also and Ash pulls out a little jar that has a leech inside of it and looks at it sort of skeptically. But a leeching kit grants +2 circumstance bonus on heal checks to treat poison, so...
The leech is wearing a cute little nurse's outfit.
I'll take anything.
Careful what you say around Bonesaw.
Is anybody else trying anything? You'll need to make the heal check on your next turn.
Okay.
Okay, yes, Jasper does want to do something.
Yes.
He's going to reach inside of his pocket and throw a stone down on the ground. Smokey, get ready. We might need to get Myra to a church or a hospital or something.
Smokey neighs and gets ready. If you load Myra onto her, she is going to take off like a rocket.
Okay, and she does have the deliver trick. She can take Myra to where I indicate.
Perfect.
Jester's Jaunt. Boom! Myra's on Smokey.
Okay.
She goes back to like reach for like the leech kit and everything, and then all of a sudden, boom, she's on Smokey.
I will say that she has the antitoxin.
Cool.
She can make the check
Okay.
with the +5. Trying to hit a 22.
19.
A 19 +5 is a 24.
Yes. Thank God.
Myra, as you're on Smokey and Smokey's getting ready to take off, you feel the poison seep out of you.
Ew.
Oh, that's better.
And then Smokey takes off.
Believe it!
Thank you, Ash and Jasper. Bye.
I don't ever want to hear anyone being like, "It's no use buying hundreds of rows of random items to put in your kit." I like my spreadsheets of items.
Myra, you can control Smokey if you want to. You're not feeling great because you're down a couple of constitution points, but you're alive and no longer poisoned if you want to return to your friends.
Okay.
Ash will start mixing an elixir of lesser restoration.
The Bronze Jackal kicks the body a little bit and leans out, holding their wounded chest, and says, "Do you all think you can handle it from here?"
Yeah, we'll clean up. Don't you worry about it. Thanks for the assist.
I didn't do much. My bullets are practically useless against this thing.
You held its attention for a little bit. That's more than we can ask.
Take care, and if you need any assistance.
Can Ash just wordlessly hand him an elixir of, gosh, what do I have left? Cure moderate wounds?
He takes it and says, Keep it for yourself. I have enough supplies in my safe house. Sounded like they were about to say something else, but corrected themselves.
Jackal Cave.
Can Moz do a sense motive on that?
Yes.
When the DM lays a hint, you take it. Unless you roll a 4 on your sense motive.
I got a 21.
Okay, let's see if their deception check. You get a sense that they were about to say a location, a very specific location. But they caught themselves before they did.
If Bonesaw were around, he would totally send Goiter to follow, but Ash would not.
The bronze jackal steps back, takes one of their smoke bombs, and just boom, throws it on the ground.
So extra.
And runs away.
Jasper turns back from where he was looking at Smokey's retreating form.
Where'd he go?
Around this time, Myra and Smokey start to return. Myra, make a perception check for me.
Okay. 25.
As you're turning around and starting to return, you saw off in the distance Leighton start slithering down the path, heading in your direction.
Guys, heads up. Leighton's headed this way.
You think you have maybe 5 minutes before he gets to the house.
I want to examine Wilmington before we leave. I want to know what happened to him, because Jasper has no idea.
Be careful. We don't know what caused this.
You climb in.
I can't! Oh!
If you're examining the body, give me a health check.
Okay.
Or heal check.
Bam. Ooh, 24. Holy cow.
24.
Nice.
Okay. You can tell he has been affected by... It doesn't look like it's a disease, or at least not necessarily one that is physical. And as you examine the body, you can actually tell most of the wounds on him are self-inflicted.
Okay, they're obviously self-inflicted.
Very obviously self-inflicted.
Okay.
And you can actually tell... Myra, did you keep the dagger that was thrown at you, or did you drop it on the ground?
It's right here.
Here you go. Kept it nice and warm for you.
You can tell that he was using this particular knife to do most of the cutting. Myra, give me either a knowledge history roll or a profession roll. Anybody can give me a knowledge history roll, but it's a higher DC.
15 for profession.
10.
Ooh, not 20.
Oh, damn.
Ooh, Maz!
That.
Myra, you know that this is, and this is all stuff that Maz knows. Colloquially, it's known as a Diamondback toothpick. Specifically, it's a type of Bowie knife that is given to members of the Diamondback family when they have worked for approximately 10 years. It's the gold watch of the family.
Oh, okay.
Maz.
Yeah.
In addition to this, you know that by looking at this knife, it looks like it's probably already about 5 years old, so he's clearly had it with him for a while.
Yeah.
And from what you know, there has not been any sort of connection between the knife and, there are Diamondbacks who have mysteriously disappeared without receiving this knife.
Okay.
And there are those who have received the knife and never had this happen to them. So,
uncorrelated.
it's no correlation between the knife and the body.
Okay. I think Moz is gonna take a look around the, more or less destroyed living space of this, Naga folk?
Yeah, is it Naga or Lamia?
Okay, so technically, neither Naga nor Lamia is quote-unquote correct. It's technically snake folk, and they have their own word for it in their own language, but Naga and Lamia get used interchangeably.
I think Moz is itching to just burn this place to the ground because this is pretty fucked up. And we don't know if it's contagious. We might want to get approval from the sheriff before doing anything and covering something up or maybe. But I think Moz is going to start just pouring gasoline out of his fiddle like it's from a jerry can using the grease spell and just sort of start whistling to himself. He's not lighting anything up just yet, but he's ready.
Getting it ready, yeah. You notice as you're looking around, the one arm that you see that's laying on the ground definitely looks like it has been gnawed on. Bonesaw, are you going inside? Or Ash, I guess. Sorry.
I have several minutes left on the enlarged person spell, and I'm not sure I can get in there.
Oh, you can't just undo it?
Am I allowed?
Yeah, you can dispel it.
Okay, I will dispel it and shrink back down. And also, it's been a minute to mix the elixir, so I'll cast the Lesser Restoration for Myra.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Go ahead and roll 1d4.
2.
2, perfect. That takes you up. It won't restore the hit points you lost, but you'll be back at maximum hit points available.
Yay.
Yay.
Does that heal the con damage?
Yes, it heals the con damage.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, cool. Yay. Thank you.
I'm also gonna give you my last Cure Light Wounds.
Oh,
9 points.
thank you.
As you both start to investigate, you see a trail of... The other room seems to have the bulk of the blood and viscera and stuff that has happened in there.
Bones, could you send Goiter out to go fetch the sheriff for us? Want to get her approval before burning this joint to the ground.
Flesh creature. Fetch the sheriff.
It'll any creepy little... smell weird.
The sheriff knows Goiter's a thing, right? Like, they've seen each other, possibly.
Time to find
I
out.
don't think they have.
No?
Right. Maybe we should write a note.
Goiter is gone.
Right.
Someone's gonna get a face plant.
All right. You have about 3 minutes before Leighton is going to be there.
Myra's actually gonna meet him outside
Okay.
before he goes in there, because she wants to prepare him for what he is about to see, because that's... Is Leighton related to Wilmington?
They're cousins, right?
Cousins, yes.
Okay.
Myra, make a fortitude save for me.
What?
Uh-oh.
Oh.
25?
Oh, thank goodness.
The itching's not getting any worse. But it's in the back of your skull, and it's still there. It sucks.
She's itching and she's irritated, she's tired, she's hurt, she's not doing good.
Does Myra shed, or is that an impertinent question?
You can ask.
Yeah, I want to know.
Does she shed?
I would say that would be a knowledge check for
She's
everybody except Myra.
Okay. I feel
Myra
like that's
knows.
just part of having scales.
So I know we talked about it.
Yes, we had talked about it.
Okay.
Knowledge what?
Knowledge, nature.
Knowledge
Nature.
exfoliation.
Ooh, nat 20. I'm getting all those secrets.
Nat 20? Yeah.
28.
Nat 20 and a 28. Yeah,
Wait,
both of y'all
I'm
know.
still going. Nat 20!
Okay.
Why is it now that we get the nat 20s?
Night of nat 20s.
Wow.
Next session is going to be awful.
Bonesaw happened across Myra doing it, and it has been seared into his memory.
Yeah, everybody knows that once a month, Lamia shed their skin. And it sucks. It itches like all get out. And it makes even the nicest Lamia just a mean cuss at times.
Yep.
Nobody make any time of the month jokes.
No, I've been married long enough that I have that sense of self-preservation just built in.
I would say, you know what, because y'all made nat 20s too, you know that snake oil was invented by the Lamias.
Oh my god, the
And-
world building right now.
Is actually designed for helping basically remove that outer layer of skin during the molting time of the month, and it gets down in there, helps both soothe the itching and remove the skin.
That's amazing.
Lovely.
I'm just seeing those Sears Roebuck catalog black and white etching illustrations of a charming young Lamia going, Dr. Pearson's snake oil. I use it.
Yeah. I will say most people outside of the Lamia community do not know that that's the origin of snake oil and think it is a medicine that they can use, but it's actually fairly toxic to non-Lamias.
Yep. Just a good old skin ointment.
We probably all know because we've seen Myra on the trail.
She has not molted in the entire time that you have been with her.
Oh, how long has it been?
A couple of weeks.
So maybe I am just molting.
It's been about a month.
Oh.
About a month.
Oh,
We're due for a...
maybe this is why she's itchy.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, it's a big red herring.
That would be just like Blake.
Yeah.
Could be a deadly disease, could just be that time of the month. One of those.
It's a 50-50. Who's got a coin?
The irrational surges of anger are just Myra being itchy.
Well, now I can understand why you would get anxious and angry around that time of month then. Is it just me going to shed, or am I going to turn into a demon hellspawn?
Why not both?
The lady in the Sears Roebuck catalog didn't say anything about this.
Ash will walk around the room and just commit as much of the scene to memory as they can.
Okay. Are they going into other rooms?
Yes, just the whole building.
Okay.
Asherell,
Yes.
you might have some insight to this, seeing as you got some sort of otherworldly origins. This here fella did not seem natural. He had more damage than he should have been able to even move with, let alone still fight. He should have been dead a long time ago, but he did not seem undead, if you know what I mean. Is this some sort of demonic thing? A curse of some kind? Do you know anything about this?
I do not retain any of my own knowledge from before. Templeton believes these creatures are called Diamondback Scions.
You can roll a knowledge nobility or knowledge arcana.
Oh,
Take the
they're both the
Arcana.
same.
Oh, nat one.
Nat one, no idea.
Mine was not a nat 1, but it was the same roll. Mine was an 8 that became a 9.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no further information about this.
But I still have the information from before, so Ash will
Yes.
continue. It is from a disease amongst the Diamondbacks that turn them into monstrosities.
I think he would also know that it is a curse as well.
It is a disease and also a curse.
And Diamondback is just a family name in the Lamia species, correct?
Correct.
They're not like wood elves versus high elves or something like that. This is just the Jones curse.
Exactly, yeah. It is a very powerful and big family, and they are the primary owners of the Southern Diamondback Railroad.
Question for Blake.
Yes.
I believe rules as written, Ash has to stick around for as long as the mutagen lasts, which at this level is an hour and a half. Could Ash willingly leave?
I will say yes, for right now.
Okay.
As Ash is walking through, though, they go through the room of all of the viscera and damage, and they find another back room. And as they approach the back room, they see a absolutely desecrated body. It is torn to shreds. Half of its face is missing. It is missing an arm. On its chest is pinned a bloodied and bent Pinkerton Detective's badge. And Ash is able to recognize, barely, based on the Pinkerton, the bit of mustache that he sees, the body of Clarence Lafayette.
Oh.
Clarence.
It's back from Ravenspire?
He was here
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
town.
it was Terrence and Clarence were the two Pinkerton agents.
Right.
And Clarence was specifically the one that was touched by the ghost train.
Right.
Ah.
Okay.
Guess we know the end of that train of thought.
How does it appear that he died? Do I think Wilmington killed him? Or do I think the ghost train had something to do with it?
Roll an Arcana check for me. And a heal check.
And a heal check. 18 Arcana, 26 heal.
Ooh.
You can tell that he was killed by Wilmington in a very slow and painful way that probably took a day or two.
Ugh.
With an 18, you see this bit of smoke that just feels like it is clinging to Clarence's body. this thin film that seems like this steam from a train.
Guess that's just bad luck.
Can I use the mask to send out a burst of positive energy and see if it gets rid of the dark smoke?
Yes, you shoot it out, and the positive energy causes this smoke that's gathered around him to fly off out of the room. Jasper and Maz, give me a perception check.
Would we also be healed by this? Or actually, Jasper would probably be damaged, wouldn't he?
Oh,
Yes.
my bad. It's a 30-foot radius. Does it go through the walls?
Yes.
Oops.
All right.
Sorry.
What happens?
Just get a mild headache. Oh, Lord.
Jasper and Maz, you see this thin wisp of smoke fly and land in Wilmington's mouth, and the body twitches.
I'm pouring grease! More grease!
And also, presumably, a burst of positive energy goes through the walls and hits them both.
Yes.
All right, what happens? What do I do?
5 points of damage for you, but 5 points of healing for Moss.
I was undamaged. I'm not sure why I'm at 56 out of 57.
Is
Yeah.
there any kind of saving throw on this, or just damage?
Yeah,
that
make
you
a
take?
will save. Will save DC 11.
9.
Yeah, take 5 points of damage. Myra, you also heal for 5 points. You're not sure where it came from.
I was doing so well.
I don't think Ash realizes what's happened through the walls.
Ow!
Maz is waterlogging this body with gasoline.
And it's about this time that Leighton approaches Myra and says, "What the hell is going on? Why are you all..." Oh my god.
Don't go in just yet. I'm so sorry. Something happened with Wilmington. He got really sick, and you know the disease?
Leighton is pushing past you.
Wait. Myra's trying to stop him, but I don't think she can.
And he gets to the edge and just says, "God's above," as he looks down at the body of his cousin. Much larger and much more desiccated than he probably has ever seen him. And he's just holding a hand over his mouth.
Also much greasier.
Yeah, much greasier.
Jasper has his hat off and held over his front.
I think Maz would probably direct the visitor to go outside. You don't want to see this.
Did he hurt anyone?
Nothing that won't heal.
I don't rightly know.
Actually, well, Maz hasn't seen the body in the other room.
Yeah, this might be a good moment for Ash to step out and say, "Clarence, dead."
Other than Clarence.
I'm glad Ash is here to not be hindered by tact. Took him a long, terrible long time to die, too.
Leighton just, under his breath, says, "Broken egg." All right. All you, get out of here.
Not so fast. We gotta... This building cannot stand. This is...
Oh, I know. I'm going to take care of that. But this is family business, and if any of you four breathe a word about this to anyone, I don't care if the gods themselves come down and ask you about this. If you breathe a word of this to anyone, I will make sure that you will never be able to walk into another civilized town in New Mexico, Arizona, Denver, Utah, hell, the entire United States. Am I clear?
Well, have fun when the sheriff shows up.
Oh, I'll take care of that. This isn't the first time that we've had to deal with this.
Right. Well, we need to talk once this business is settled, but good day.
Yeah, good day.
Sorry for your loss.
Thank you. He takes off his hat, hangs it up, rolls up his sleeves, and starts... It looks like he is doing the same thing that you were doing, Maz. He is preparing this place for fire.
I get that.
Myra looks at Leighton getting ready to prepare things, and she kind of holds it and decides it can wait. So she's going to kind of solemnly go outside.
Ash will follow. They don't particularly care about the vagaries of the railroad.
Now, we're here on business. Maz will file out.
It's about this time that you hear Goiter scurrying back, smoke rising off of him, as he was apparently shot at.
By who?
Take a guess.
What kind of terrible person would shoot at Goiter?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
You see Sheriff Cat running up after and just shouting, "It went this way! You see what it is?"
Asherel will hold out a hand so that Goiter can reabsorb and fast heal and hide.
I thought Goiter didn't like Ash.
Yeah, Goiter pulls up, looks up at Ash, looks back at Cat, who's running down the road at a full sprint,
Come on,
looks back at Ash,
I have a responsibility.
hops onto Myra.
Myra.
Myra takes the blob that is Goiter and slaps it onto Asherel's back. Get your healing.
Last time I do a favor for you.
Yeah, you see the two eyes just kind of poke up out of Goiter and look at you accusingly, Myra.
Get your healing. I don't want to hear it.
You see Sheriff Cat come running up, out of breath, and says, "Do you see a little thing of flesh come running up this way?"
Good, Goiter found you. You might want to have a word with the railroad in there.
She has this look on her face of utter confusion, like, what did you say? It came running out, flew in when I was in the middle of a meeting, and started flapping at me out of nowhere. I think I winged it once.
Yeah, he's gonna hold a grudge over that. But, he's following orders. Harmless, mostly. Unless you, have the tendency to hurl at the sight of disgusting things in your line of vision. But, I suggest that you, go in that there building and, take a gander.
Sheriff, apologies. The flesh creature is mine.
Yours? You're sounding might odd there, Mr. Bonesaw.
Came in with the flu, I'm afraid. Nasty stuff.
Make a bluff check.
Yep. Fortunately, bluff is one of my specialties. 31.
Oh, there's no way she can make that. She just says, "All right, take care of yourself. Get some rest. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. You're more a doctor than I am. But not by much if I... No, that's not here nor there. What happened in there?"
Railroad business.
I think it'd be better for you to see than for us to explain.
All right, I'll take a look.
I'll stand by if you need us.
I'll come by my office later. All of a sudden, this is when you hear a fire start up inside.
I say we hightail it before I get accused of another... before we get implicated in anything.
Sheriff Cat rushes in and says, "What the hell are you doing? Leighton, what are you..." There's sounds of a scuffle coming from inside.
Like a polite scuffle or like a fight?
There's a gunshot that goes off.
Oh, shit, Myra's going in.
Do we need to roll initiative?
Yeah, roll some initiative.
Trying to do the right thing. Last time I called the law for help.
All right, Maz, you're up first. You just heard a gunshot go off.
Wonderful. Well, I definitely know that I covered that place head to toe in a bunch of grease. So a fire has started. Is it smoky or is it just burning?
Right now, it's just burning. Like, you just heard the initial whoop of a larger fire being set.
Okay. If that's the case, I will kick into my bardic performance that gives protection from fire, so resistance. So I'll throw that on, and I will, I guess, enter the building.
Okay.
thought we were out of here. I'm not too good on spells right now.
Okay, Ash.
Ash is going to also enter the building. I'm going to move twice to get into the main room in between the sheriff and Leighton. Ash will glare at Leighton through the red-tinted lenses, muscles straining at Bonesaw's coat, and say, "You said you would take care of the sheriff. We didn't think this is what you meant."
You see Leighton is holding a pistol, and it's like, I didn't know. I thought somebody was sneaking up on me. It's an accident. I didn't mean. And Sheriff says, "Oh, Leighton, you're in trouble now. You got some explaining to do now." Sheriff Cat is going to feel at her neck to see if she got hit, and then levels her shotgun and says, "Leighton, drop the gun. Drop it."
All I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in. I'll go on over to here and say, "Sheriff, your call. I got your back. And I do have guns drawn."
Sheriff Cat is going to say, "You heard him. Drop the guns. We'll take you in and have a nice little bit of questioning about what the hell is going on here and why your cousin is looking about the size of..." Well, never mind. Leighton's going to consider, take his pistol and toss it to the ground as the fire continues to lick around him. They're good. At least you have at least one brain cell.
Sheriff, you got it from here?
I think I can take care of it. Come by my place a little later and we'll, got some business that happened while y'all were away that I think you might find interesting.
All right, then.
Be seeing you.
Jasper will leave, but he's gonna hang around within general earshot of the sheriff on her way back. Not interfering or anything, but able to hear if, like, an altercation breaks out.
Okay. Sheriff Cat's gonna say, "All right, we're gonna have a nice long chat," and is gonna clasp him in a couple of manacles and lead him out. It seems like whatever was going on has settled down, though the fire is still going.
I feel like we're pretty happy to let the fire go.
Yeah.
Sheriff didn't say anything about it, so I'm not going to volunteer. Fire brigade.
Yeah.
When Sheriff Cat comes out with Leighton, Myra's gonna insist on going with him. She's gonna go, "Listen, it's Lamia business. We can explain it better in detail. Let me go with you."
All right, come along. Hopefully somebody can explain this.
It's to help Leighton out and also to make sure Leighton doesn't pull anything.
Leighton did just threaten all of us with pretty severe consequences for mentioning anything related to this, so just keep that in mind.
Yep. Keep a watch on him.
Is Myra taking Goiter with her? He's fast healed by now.
Goiter's gotta learn to play nice.
As the sheriff is departing with Leighton and Myra, Ash will say, "I'm going to let Bonesaw out now, but be warned, he is upset."
Now, why would Bonesaw be upset?
Bonesaw's body shrinks back down, losing the muscles, and the glass lenses turn green, and he says, "You all can just fuck off! I thought you were my friends!"
Oh no.
And you know what? I'll be fine on my own. I've done it before, I can do it again. It's not like I've gotten used to this or anything.
Is it permanent? Like it's
Now what tarnation?
Modify memory sucks, y'all.
Yeah.
Going with Corinne's question, is that a permanent effect?
Yeah.
And we have no idea.
Yeah, you guys don't know, but yeah, the 5 minutes of memory has been completely altered.
Whoa, Bonesaw, what's going on? Why are you acting so funky?
Now I've seen your true colors, talking about taking my mask away, and how I just come along with the rest of you, and that was really mean. I don't know why you did that.
Jasper, do you recall anybody talking about taking off Bonesaw's mask?
I'm might confused here, and more confused than when I was hit with confusion.
Bonesaw, no one threatened you with anything. We just pulled your ass out of the fire in there. Do you remember the fight?
No.
Well,
No. Not really.
Here, take a look. And Moz will sort of gesture towards the house that is going up in flames.
Well, I remember going in there and you were all laughing and saying mean things and saying you were going to take my mask away.
Bones, that's not what happened. At this point, could Moz do a Arcana check to determine what is afflicting Bonesaw?
Yes.
Okay. Please be good. 18.
18? You can probably guess that something has altered his memories. You might not necessarily know that it is the Modify Memory spell, but you know there are lots of spells out there that can fuck with a person's brain.
Okay. Moz is going to sort of indicate for Bonesaw to follow him around the building to look through the window that we were crawling in and out of.
Bonesaw will cross his arms like a petulant toddler, but he'll follow you.
Okay. Now, take a look through that window, and I know it might be a little difficult to see throughout all the flames and whatnot. Actually, I got something for that. Give me a sec. I'm going to kick up a performance that is specifically for allowing people to see through flames.
How fortuitous!
That's so useful.
Yeah. Now, you see that feller down there? He done messed you up real good. You got quite a few new additions to your scar collection there, thanks to him. Any of this ringing any bells to you?
Bonesaw considers for a long moment and compares these 5 minutes with maybe all of his other memories, and he turns to you and says, Moz, was I having a zombie moment?
Yes and no. I think that, you probably got hit pretty hard over the head, or some mystical in nature is affecting maybe your recent memories, but, we did have a small chat with your, good pal, Ash.
He's not my pal.
Certainly not Goiter's either, but, he took over for you once you took, quite a big hit, seemed like.
We're still friends.
Still friends, Bones. Always have been, always will.
Oh.
All right.
Now, come on. You owe me a drink.
I do owe you a drink.
Jasper actually was going to mention that something similar happened to him during the fight, but this is like watching somebody build a house of cards, and you don't want to say, "Ooh, here, let me hold that one for you." No, I'm just gonna. I don't want to spoil the magic going on here.
Well, just one drink. I have errands to run.
Okay, Bones. But you're taking a drink with me.
Of course. I think I need a drink. I just had a ginormous battle with that thing.
Oh,
Was I
yeah.
really cool?
Oh,
Did I do a good job?
You became huge. It's quite a sight.
Ooh.
You get downright terrifying sometimes, you know that?
Oh, yes. Jasper, are you coming for drinks?
Yeah, I got a few things to do too, but I think that's probably a good idea. And then we need to go on over to the sheriff's after a while. We'll fill you in what happened while you were out there, Bonesaw.
All right.
First of all, I lent you $500.
We're going to jump over to Sheriff Cat and Myra. Cat leads you and Leighton into the jail cell and slams the door shut on Leighton. She goes, puts her shotgun up on the wall, rubs her eyes a little bit, picks up a flask from under her desk, pours a glass for her, pours a second one, slides it over to Myra.
Thanks.
So, Mr. Leighton, you mind telling me, what was so important there that you decided to take a shot at me? Leighton is just stone-faced.
If I may, without going into too much detail, it's something kind of like a disease, but it's more than that. And it carries a lot of very, very taboo weight with Alamia. There's a lot of social problems that come along with it, and it's not something that should be talked about in public. So I hope we can talk to you about this with the utmost discretion.
Sheriff Cat downs her shot, pours herself another, picks it up. Leighton is glaring daggers at you, Myra, but is not saying anything. She says, "All right. I will be as discreet as the law allows me to be, but what was going on back there? That seemed like that was more than just a little fight. There was a lot of blood in there, and I'm pretty sure I saw an arm."
Myra wants to not necessarily lie, but leave out some very important details. So Myra kind of pinches the bridge of her nose and goes, You know how Lamia kind of shed once a month?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Well, sometimes it can go wrong. Very wrong. And, it's not a very pretty sight. And it can leave all sorts of nastiness around, and poor Wilmington, he was about to shed, and, well, it didn't go so well. And it's embarrassing for the Lamia to talk about, because it's a terrible way to go. And it may not mean anything to you, but to us, it's a very, very, very awful way to go.
Roll a bluff for me.
Yeah, that was a bluff. That was straight up lie. 17?
Not bad.
Sheriff Cat nods, sets down her glass, sits down in the chair. All right. Fair enough. I understand how you might not want to talk about that. Is it dangerous? Did anybody get hurt?
Myra does not know about the body in the back.
Ash had said that Clarence was dead to the room.
Oh shit, how is she gonna explain that? She says, well, normally it's just, just affects us Lamia, if we get this disease and make shedding more dangerous for us, but unless you're a Lamia, it's not dangerous.
Okay, I'm gonna carry your bluff forward for that.
Okay.
Sheriff Cat says, right, I'm gonna have to investigate this a little bit, you know that.
Yeah, of course.
He, definitely looked like he was going a bit off the deep end, and the fact that Cat points at Leighton and says, the fact that he was starting a fire to cover this up certainly doesn't bode well for him.
I know. You really gotta understand, though, when it comes to family, it's terrible watching it happen to someone you care about. So if my word means anything, please at least consider that. He's grieving.
You and your friends were acting in self-defense?
Yeah.
She considers for a second. All right. I think I'm gonna keep him overnight. See if he has anything else that he wants to share, but thank you, Myra, for being honest with me.
She looks over at Leighton. Is Leighton still giving her daggers, or?
Leighton gives Myra just a slight nod.
Okay. Alright, cool. She gives a tiny, tiny nod back. Is there anything else you need from me, Sheriff?
When you get a chance, if you and your friends could come by, somebody came into town recently that wants to talk with you.
Sure. Yeah.
And look, just be better to get it done and over with. I don't know what exactly they want to say, but I'll be here. Don't worry.
Could we stumble in slightly tipsy at that moment?
Well, where did y'all go?
I think Bonesaw would probably want to go to Ellie's place.
Okay. Ellie gives you a couple of drinks, sends you on your way, and it's right around that moment that you come stumbling in, a little tipsy, and Sheriff Cat says, oh, that makes things slightly easier. Or not. If y'all want to grab a seat over in the meeting hall, I can go and get him. And like I said, just listen to what she has to say and don't jump to the guns or anything.
Oh, okay.
Why would we want to do that?
Sheriff Cat just gives Bonesaw a look.
No, really, I'm asking.
It's, you'll understand when you see.
Very cryptic. That's exciting. All right.
Sheriff Cat is going to exit out, and about 10 minutes later, she returns.
In that 10 minutes, Myra, do you fill us in on what you told the sheriff?
Yeah, she gathers everyone close and she goes, okay, listen, I told the sheriff that what had happened was some sort of disease that makes shedding go horribly wrong, and it technically is a disease, but it's definitely not that. But if anybody asks you, that's what it is. It's a disease for lamia that makes shedding go very, very wrong.
Understood.
Well, Wilmington didn't ask for what happened to him, so I'm okay with that. I'm guessing since the body subject didn't come up that it just wasn't mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we kind of conveniently skipped over that.
A body?
And I feel bad about that, but...
That's not gonna look good when they realize he's missing.
We'll take it as we go. We won't hide that, but if we can maybe disconnect it from Wilmington, I don't know. I feel bad for Leighton. This truly is an awful, awful disease. And she scratches the back of her neck.
A couple of scales come out
Ooh.
as she scratches.
Shit.
How are you feeling, Myra?
She looks at the scales that just kind of came off in her hand, gives it a long look, and she goes, I don't know. Either I'm shedding or something else.
This disease that may or may not exist, any known cure?
No, none that we know of. The biggest risk factors being in the Diamondback family, but they're a little touchy about that subject. It's one of the reasons why Leighton didn't want anybody to find out about it.
You don't have any Diamondback blood, do you?
I don't think so. I've worked for them, but I don't know if it's contagious beyond that. It's kind of a curse.
It's a curse and a disease, I believe. I'm curious if I were to somehow combine a cure curse and cure disease, if that would make any headway. But I'm sure people have tried that.
I don't know. I'm certain if there's anything that people haven't tried, it's definitely something you could do.
Oh, that's very flattering, thank you. I'm pretty sure you didn't say those nasty things. Yes.
What nasty things?
Oh, it's things about taking my mask away, and...
Why would I take
Jesus. Bones, why would we want to look at your ugly face?
That was mean.
No, fair enough. Seems like Bonesaw got a bit of a whammy there from that feller. Same as me. I got a bit too, but I didn't see nothing. I just got all corn fuzzled for a few moments.
Did anyone grab that weird knife?
This thing?
Yes, if it's all right with you, I'm planning to go by the church later to recharge the wand, and I was going to get a few things identified if I could. Do you mind if I take the knife and maybe Westglen's coin?
Oh, yeah.
Here.
Interesting.
Now that you have a chance to take a look at the knife itself, it is a beautifully made Bowie knife with a reptilian-like Damascus steel pattern going along the blade and a antler handle. Has a bit of like a thrumming energy to it, and as Bonesaw picks it up, it's ever so slightly damp to the touch.
Yeah.
My knife.
No.
Burn it.
My precious.
I'll be wanting that back.
I'll go dig another hole.
About had my fill of cursed items.
You do seem to be a magnet for those.
I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two.
Is this your sweat on it or what?
We'll just call it that.
Intriguing, but I'm not going to ask any further.
Must has no idea what it is, but we're just...
It's about this time that Sheriff Cat returns, kicking in the door, and she goes and sits in a chair and is just like, just keep the guns in the holsters. You see entering through the door is a tall human with a blood red vest and a cravat. He carries a gun and has a couple of bracers, mutton chops, and a mustache. Slightly graying hair, standing about 5.5 feet tall. He is carrying a suitcase with him. As he steps inside, he looks around, glancing, taking it in, turns out and says, "It's all right, ma'am. Come on in." And as soon as the door opens up, you see
Oh no.
an elven woman with golden eyes, a long flowing purple dress, a scarf wrapped around her neck, and a small hat tilted to the side, comes in. She is carrying a black cat that she is stroking. She gives you all a pleasant smile as she walks in and takes a seat.
Important question.
Yes.
Blackburn purple?
The man introduces himself. My name is Luther Ballard, Esquire. I represent Miss Constance Blackburn. And he indicates the woman who is sitting, smiling. You have not seen her before, but you see the family resemblance to Jessie.
Okay.
However, she seems older. To see any sign of age on an elf means that they have to be very, very old, and you see the beginnings of crow's feet at her eyes and wrinkles on her forehead. She continues to sit as Luther speaks to you all and says, "I believe that you four are the four that are responsible for Mr. Jesse Blackburn being run out of town."
Abso-fucking-lutely!
Miss Constance Blackburn is unfortunately related to Mr. Jesse Blackburn. He has been a sore subject, a black sheep of the family for some time. It's unfortunate that it came to such a violent conclusion. But we wanted to assure you that he has been branded an outlaw, that he is no longer welcome as part of the family,
Oh, shit.
and that our top agents are looking to track him down.
Oh.
So what do you want from us?
Luther leans over and Constance whispers something in his ear, and he stands back up and says, "We are simply offering you a bit of an apology, shall we say, for having to deal with Mr. Jesse." And he takes the suitcase and places it in the center of the table.
Do we open it?
I'll bite. Bonesaw will flip the clasps and pop that baby open.
I feel like he's perfectly capable of opening it himself. Move! I'm gonna see that.
As Bonesaw opens it, inside are stacks and stacks of dollar bills.
Oh.
Well, I'm not going to say no, but to be clear, if we take this money, can we still do bad things to Jesse should we find him? What are the strings?
No strings attached. Miss Constance has made sure to assure me of that, and Constance Blackburn is just still sitting there, petting the cat. Hasn't said a word to you all the entire time. Says, "You are welcome to do whatever you want, but there is no need to go after him. We have several of the law enforcement and our top agents going after him."
Yeah, sense motive seems like a good.
Yeah, let's send that round.
15 for me.
18.
I'll go ahead and roll, but I have my suspicions here.
Okay. You all can tell. Actually, Maz and Jasper, you don't pick up on all of this, but you get a sense that there's 2 layers to this. The first layer is this is a bribe to not go after him.
That wasn't my suspicion.
But Bonesaw and Myra, you get a sense that that's a little too obvious of a ploy. As in, they want you to think that this is a bribe to not go after him, and expect you to recognize it as that.
Do we know what the second layer is?
You would guess that it is payment for a job. That is all you're able to tell.
We're getting paid because we ran him out of town.
They didn't like him neither.
Oh my god.
Well, there's no sort of contract. You've said there's no strings attached. I don't see why we can't just take the money and pleasure doing business with you. Thank you very much.
Of course, you are more than welcome, and we appreciate you. Miss, Constance is going to be staying in town for a little bit, and returning things to the shape they should have been had Jesse not made such an issue of it. And, Constance taps him on the elbow, and he leans down. She whispers something to him again. Miss Constance would also like to extend her heartfelt apology for any of the difficulties that Mr. Jesse put you through. And she taps him again. He leans down. And when you have a moment, she would like to discuss with you the potential of future work.
Is she going to discuss it with us, or, just whisper the whole time?
Interesting. I'm sorry for your ailment there, ma'am. I hope you get your voice back soon.
Luther starts to say, I'm afraid Miss Constance is not... And she puts a hand on his arm, and he stops. And she stands up, and she takes the scarf from around her neck. And you all now can see she has a wicked scar going from the front of her neck all the way around to the back.
Well, now I feel like an asshole.
And she says in an incredibly raspy voice, I apologize for not being able to speak very much.
Being in France 85 years ago was not exactly pleasant for my health.
I hope that you consider my offer of a job and join me for a meal.
What kind of job?
Taking care of some, and she looks over at Sheriff Cat. Family business.
We'll talk later.
I'm a medical doctor. Perhaps I could, help? You seem sort of loaded, and I'd love to try.
Jasper, with a 14, you know that was right in the middle of the French Revolution. And she would have been very wealthy.
This would have been Les Miserables
The
time.
people sing.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
You can guess how she got a scar all the way around her neck.
Yeah, how do you put a head back on after using a guillotine? That's what Maz is trying to ponder on right now.
Roll a heal check.
Okay.
A whopping big healing potion.
How would they be able to drink it?
Can I roll for that, too?
Yeah.
No, you dunk them in it.
Woo! Not 20.
Nat
20.
20. Nice.
With a nat 20, both Bonesaw and Maz know that she was definitely hit with a guillotine, and her head was cut off. Bonesaw, you can think of like one or two ways that you could heal this. Like, it might have taken some resurrection, it might have taken some serious healing potions right then, but it's possible, especially for somebody who is very wealthy. But Maz, you know that there is a fine line of the kind of resurrection magic that would exist such that to bring somebody back from that kind of literally losing their head, that is powerful enough to, like, heal somebody and bring them back to life, but low enough level to leave such a scar and clearly, like, affecting her speech even now. It would have been the kind of thing that was some expenses were spared to bring her back.
Oh, interesting.
But she is not a zombie.
She's not a zombie. No, she is alive.
Okay.
Does she ignore Bonesaw's offer to try?
Yes, she does.
That's cool.
The asshole just called her out on her shit.
Yeah. She returns to her seat. Her cat, having been disturbed and set on the table, returns to her lap, and she continues to pet it. She returns the scarf around her neck as Luther continues and says, "We are going to be staying in the Blackburn offices for the time being. You are welcome to stop by at any time. If you provide us with some forewarning, we can have a meal prepared for you."
Like the sound of that.
Jasper will stand up, take his hat off, and say, "My apologies, ma'am, for any impertinence. I feel my remarks were out of line." And sit back down.
Constance nods her head and waves a hand as if to say, like, it's nothing.
Damn. It's just a decapitation. Nothing. It's Tuesday.
Well, we're a little booked up right now, but perhaps when we return from our trip to Albuquerque?
And with that, Luther's going to say, "We hope you have a good day. If I might make a recommendation, you might want to see about a bath. You all seem a bit, like you've had a bit of a rough day."
Yeah.
Buddy, you don't know the half of it.
Constance stands up, and Luther provides an escorting arm and leads her out.
Well, it's not every day someone waves a big old box of cash in front of you. How much we get off of that?
You count it all up. It is $4,000.
$4,000?
I am
Yes.
super suspicious.
Maz ain't.
It's like a dream come true. Maz, pinch me.
Maz will do you one better and slap you across the face.
That's the stuff.
Sheriff Cat approaches and just says, "Ella son bruja, if you ask me."
She's a witch.
Sorry, I shouldn't speak of her when she's out of the room, but I don't trust any of them Blackburns, even if she does seem to be all smiles and rainbows.
You don't have to trust them to take the money.
You're the lucky one that got offered the money.
Yeah, sorry. But, this was... Do you want some of the money?
She just laughs and says, "That's okay."
Bonesaw snaps the case shut. You had a job for us, though.
She sits down at the table and says, "It's a bit of a complicated one." She looks around and says, "I need you all to take a little payment into Albuquerque for me.
Okay. What for?
Like a strong box?
There are a couple of ways that business gets done in these parts. I don't like it, but I have a duty to make sure that everybody in this town stays safe and stays watered.
Oh, you're paying off the Galloways!
This is not payment to the Galloways. This is our payment to the county." She goes into her office and pulls out a lockbox and sets it down on the table. "In fact, this is very much not going to the Galloways." She taps it. "Am I clear? I don't want this to be anywhere near Galloways."
I don't real sense motive. There's like a...
Sense motive from Myra and Bonesaw. You can tell she is telling you all exactly what you're surmising, that this is supposed to go to the county seat to pay for water rights. She is making it clear that she does not want it to go to the Galloways, but she recognizes that it's probably going to end up in their hands anyway.
Okay.
Got it. Then whose hands are we delivering it to?
Take it into town, take it up to the courthouse, that they will be able to direct you to the person that needs it. You might find yourself getting hassled by the Galloways for some protection money. Don't fucking give them a dime.
We're pretty good at that.
I'm not gonna lie, they might not take too kindly to that. They're expecting a bribe.
Well, don't worry.
Well, they ain't expecting us. We'll get your money to where it needs to be.
Edgar's gonna be mighty pissed, but we're going to do this the right way. In addition, and she sits back, I believe you all were looking for some information about where you could find our wayward Blackburn.
Yes, did your contacts come through?
Indeed she did. In town, try to find a centaur by the name of Sawyer Blackjack. She's the one that's been on his trail. She'll be able to get you some information. She just sent me a telegram yesterday that she had a lead. She typically stays at the Flowing Waters Hotel and Restaurant. But she can also be found out at the rodeo yards. She enjoys that when she has time off.
Been a while since I've been to a good rodeo.
Have fun.
I don't think I've ever been to one.
I definitely recommend it. It's quite a fun time. If there's anything else you need, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, y'all take care now.
You too.
Sounds good.
All right. Got a few things to take care of in town here before we leave, so... I look at the big old suitcase full of bills there. Do we need to put that in a bank, or are we just going to carry it with us?
I mean, I might just go spend my portion real quick. So.
Bonesaw, aren't you in debt? Don't you already owe?
And that's one of my errands.
My errands. Okay,
Do we want to split this 4 ways?
Yes.
I think that's the only way that we're likely to ever see the fair share doled out, is if we take care of it now, so that it doesn't get misplaced or lost or stolen.
I would never.
Gambled
Bonesaw
away.
starts counting.
Oh no, wasn't accusing no one.
Bonesaw glances around and says, I'm keeping up with the payments for now, but if at some point we want to pull a heist and get my blood back, then we shall see.
Right.
I've got a couple of irons in the fire.
One of our many errands.
Moz, you have stuff that you want to do in town?
I would really like to see my new house. It's, somewhere out there. I'm not quite sure I got the exact location off of, whatever his face was, but, it's mine, and I would like to see it.
All right. Fantastic.
You should hire a caretaker.
Money, spending things. We distribute our current wealth, and we'll go from there.
Bonesaw, could you take your hands from around the... We need to get it open. No, if you could just move your fingers just a little bit.
I just want to hold it another minute.
All right, Moz, you go to your new house. It takes you a little bit to find exactly where you're going, but eventually you come across a small one-story ranch house out on a bit of property.
Ooh.
It is a small one-story, though quite expansive house. You had to travel on the land for a little bit. You see a barn off in the distance. It is appears to be a well-apportioned place. You saw some crops growing. You see a couple of animals in the yard as you walk. And as you approach the barn, you see a male tiefling, red-skinned, one horn growing slightly longer than the other, glowing yellow eyes. He's wearing a winter coat over a fairly basic shirt, and he has a necklace with an emerald hanging by it.
Okay.
He has a couple of scars on his hands, and one very prominent one right across the bridge of his nose. His hair is drawn back, slicked back from sweat as he's moving hay bales around, pouring some feed into a trough. He doesn't seem to notice your approach.
Well, howdy there.
God damn it!
Didn't mean to spook you.
Don't exactly see many people out here.
Well, I could be in the wrong place, but, believe this is my house looks like you're taking care of.
He looks down at you and says, "You're the guy who that little asshole at the farm against. He's no longer my employer. I can call him whatever the hell I want.
I know exactly what you mean. He's a real piece of work, he was.
The tiefling approaches and holds out a hand and says, Logan Hayes, nice to meet you.
Maz, pleasure.
Nice to meet you, Maz. Well, this here's your property. I've been taking care of the place for near about 3-4 years now.
Wow. I like what you've done with the place. Looks pristine.
Thank you kindly. I take a great pride in this here place and quite happy.
Mind giving me a tour?
Absolutely, I'd be happy to. Come with me. And he starts to show you around, telling you a little bit about the land, how it's set up, what it's used for. It's 10 acres. The home and barn sit in the lower right quadrant of it. He takes you into the house, showing off some of the amenities. It has a bathtub that's all set inside, a main bedroom with a couple of guest bedrooms off to the side, as if they were expecting a great many people. Communal little fireplace. Logan explains that whenever the hired hands are on hand, he enjoys cooking meals for them. There's a small basement for storage that's downstairs, nothing in it but some winter foodstuffs. And he goes over to the map and rolls out a map of the property. There's a little seasonal lake that appears every spring from water running on, and then some rivers that provide good water sources for the land. Logan explains that the entire property is set up to be self-sufficient as is. It doesn't produce much money, but it doesn't take any money either. It breaks even every year. It has a small amount of cattle, some gourds and pumpkins that it grows, hay and straw that are used to feed the cattle and sell off what's extra, and then some timber for any sort of building necessities. And that the northwest corner is currently unused largely because it's fairly rocky, and it would take an investment to be able to get enough people in to move it all out.
Got it. Well, seems like an awful lot of work for just one feller. How many working hands, he said, were employed by your previous manager?
I'll bring in about 5 or 6 depending on the season. I usually can manage the cattle and just checking up on stuff. It's usually pretty easy, and I only bring on folks that when we need it.
Now, how many guest rooms this place got? And where do you stay?
He walks you out and shows that there's a small one-room building out back that he lives in. Has a little fireplace and bed that he keeps all of his stuff in.
And how many guest rooms?
3 guest rooms, 1 master bedroom.
It's a very convenient number. Alright, well, this place looks mighty fine. What'd you say you need around here? Any improvements that could really help you out, or any expansions that you think might be worthwhile?
The biggest thing that I would like to be able to do is do something with that northwestern corner. It's currently fallow land, but I'd need to hire a team to be able to come in and clear out all the rocks, and never was given authorization to do that. It would cost probably $150, and I could start turning that into some usable land.
$150 to get a whole chunk of land?
That would just be to clearing it out. I know it's a steep price, but...
About how long will you think it'd take if you had a team working on that? Clear it all out.
Could probably clear it out here in about 2 weeks.
Oh. Oh, here. I'm gonna give you $200. Use whatever money you got to get that team out there, and you can pocket the rest. It's a bit of a down payment.
Nice.
Logan looks a bit shocked when you do this, and he takes it and says, "That's about kind of you, Mr. Maz.
Mr. Maz.
Honestly, I was expecting you to be a bit of a... If you don't mind me saying so, I was kind of expecting you to be a bit of a prick."
I get that a lot.
It's right kind of you.
You're not wrong.
Well, I think I could use a place to rest up, but I'll be seeing you in a few weeks. See what expansions we can make on that corner.
All right, sounds good. I'll let you know. If you have an idea, I can start looking for it. If not, I can come up with a list of ideas for you.
Matter of fact, why don't you use some of that money I gave you and, why don't you go ahead and prep a decent meal? I'm expecting company.
Aw.
Right, will do.
Right.
See you around, Mr. Mars.
Be seeing you, Mr. Hayes.
And Logan is gonna head back into town, whistling a little tune as he goes.
Aw.
We're gonna hop over to Jasper.
Jasper is gonna go see Silent Joe.
Silent Joe is, as you would expect, sitting out on his porch, smoking and just looking out, watching the commerce going down throughout town. A couple of people go into his shop, and he gives them a nod, and as you approach, he gives you a nod as well.
Howdy, Joe. Looks like you got the place cleaned up from the last time I was here.
It has been a few days since you were last here.
Listen, I got a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about. You might be getting a visit from a fox person, but all dressed up in, like, Eastern ironmongery. If he comes asking for me, it's okay to talk to him. He and I have some interests in common, and I have told him that if he is looking for me in town, that any information he gave to you or any message he gave to you, I'd be checking up on that. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely. I appreciate you letting me know ahead of time. It's, I wouldn't want to be giving your information out to just anyone coming by, especially somebody who is well armored.
Well, as your name indicates, you're pretty good at being silent, Joe. So thank you very much, and I wanted to clear that up before it became an issue. Second thing is, I got a small list of things that I'd like to purchase, and I'm hoping that you'd be able to fulfill that list. Some of them are like groceries and things like that, including some perishables, some nice fruits and vegetables and such like that, but we can take care of that in a bit. What I'd like more is, do you carry any bicarbonate of soda or powdered talc? Both, if possible.
He considers for a second and says, bicarbonate of soda. Yes, I believe I have a box of that somewhere. It's been quite a while since I had need of it. The powdered talc, that might... Actually, I believe I do have that. Give me just a minute.
Excellent.
And he's going to go into his shop and about 2 minutes later return with 2 boxes.
Excellent. This is exactly what I need. I will pay him. I'm mighty flush right now.
It's not much. It's like 5 silver.
And I will give him a written list of groceries and such like that. If he could deliver them to, I believe we're still staying at the
Gray's Inn in Bordello.
Yes, where we blew a hole in the wall. Well, we didn't blow a hole in the wall. Somebody kicked their way through the wall. Yeah, they can be delivered there because I know that somebody has a box that will keep them nice and cold and fresh when we're on the trail.
Yep.
And the last thing, is there anybody here in town that does cleaning, like clothes cleaning?
Most people take care of that themselves.
Yeah, well, I have an aversion to water, actually, so...
I'm afraid the best I could guess is maybe one of the richer folk in town have some sort of magical cleaning.
Well, I'll check with my companions. If magical cleaning is a thing, they never told me about that. Shame on them for holding out on me if they do, but I'm imagining the bordello must have some way of keeping cloth clean, so I'll see what I can find out there. But yeah, I've been told that I need a bath. And I'm figuring if you don't want to get wet, that bicarbonate of soda... followed by a nice dusting of talc. Ought to do the job really nice.
I suppose that makes sense.
Yeah. So actually, I'd like to... I imagine this is enough to do the job here, but I might need to do it in the future. So if I could put in an order for the next time you get any kind of... you send out for any kind of deliveries.
I will keep it in mind and see what I can find.
Excellent. I appreciate that mightily. And the last thing is... if our mutual friend Natan happens to come into town,
tell him that the job that he needed being done is done and taken care of, and there's a whole bunch of, hopefully, happy Apache children out there.
That's wonderful to hear.
And the last thing that Jasper's going to do is he's going to go and check at the bordello to see if they have any kind of clothes cleaning service. He's willing to pay more than normal for it. And then he's going to get himself delivered a tin tub that he's just going to stand in and dust himself. Clean himself with a rag, bicarbonate of soda, followed by a nice dusting.
Yeah.
He's a chinchilla. He's taking a dust bath.
Yeah.
Exactly
Yeah,
so.
Kay Gray will help you out. She indeed does have a cleaning service that she utilizes, and she gets you all cleaned up.
All right, and when he's finished, I'm imagining he's going to look and smell better, but he's going to be kind of ghastly white.
He's a ghost.
Myra
doesn't have anything she wants to roleplay. Just off screen, I think she's just going to get some more rations and some more bullets.
Okay. Here's the thing.
Please.
When she goes to Cumberland Supply,
Okay.
it's shut down.
Huh. Interesting.
Noral is not in.
Is there a note on the window?
There's no note.
Is the door locked?
I don't think it is.
She's gonna check on her buddy Noral.
Oh, I thought you were thinking free stuff.
No. Shame on you. Not her sweet, sweet Noral. She slowly pushes the door open and she looks out and she calls, "Hello? Noral?"
There's no response.
She remembers last time that she was looking at things that didn't seem to be there and had grabbed a sword off the wall at one point.
Yes.
So she's a little concerned. She's gonna go inside.
The door closes. The little bell above the door rings. Just a ding, 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 ding.
Noral, I was wondering if I could get some food rations. Maybe a bar of soap.
There's no response.
She goes to look behind the counter.
Give me a perception check.
I hope she's okay. 27.
Ooh.
You notice a couple of things right off the bat. The sword is not hanging on the wall. You also notice a slight scent of blood on the air.
She starts to look a little more quickly, and she draws her gun, her rifle.
With a 27, as you're looking, you push against a barrel near the entrance, but it doesn't move. In fact, it is locked solid.
The barrel doesn't move?
The barrel doesn't move at all. Like, normally, even if you push against a barrel or a box or something, you'd expect it to move a little bit.
It's like bolted to the ground.
Yes.
She tries to open the barrel.
She opens up the top, and there is a ladder going down from the top of the barrel into what appears to be a lower room.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go grab the crew.
Okay. You round up the crew. We'll come back to that in just a second. Let's see what Bonesaw's doing.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I'm going to start going through my list, and you tell me how far I get before I get rounded up.
Okay.
There's a lot of things off screen. On the trail on the way back, I would like to have been scribing some scrolls and brewing some potions.
Yep.
I would like to go update my loan at the bank.
Okay.
Because it is Tuesday, and that was due on Monday, so I'll put the 156.21 into the account, and I will drop off a letter for my mom at the post office. Then I'll go to Stella's and check on the cart. I also wanted to ask Stella, because she's the dodgiest person Bonesaw knows, where he might replace the lockpicks that he gave to Carter, and he's also looking for a certain kind of book.
She does not have any information on the book. However, she does say, "Oh, you need tools? I've got tools right here." Boom. And holds out a set of thieves' tools.
Oh, thank you, Stella. I was also wondering, could you lock this really cool cold box in some sort of rack or something in the cart so it doesn't slide?
Of course. That is very easy. I can do that.
Oh, thank you. You did a marvelous job with the cart. It looks wonderful.
Why, thank you. I do pride myself on the work. It's good work.
And after that, Bonesaw would go to the church.
Okay. On your way to the church is about the time that Myra comes and grabs you.
Okay.
Everybody kind of gets collected, told that there's something going on with Noral.
Maz would have returned to town because he was planning on inviting everyone over for a nice meal.
Mm-hmm.
Aww.
Let me roll something for Noral. Can you give me a stealth check, Myra?
Ooh.
Hey,
Natural 20.
she's sneaky.
Sneaky.
Okay. You all return to Noral's place, and it is exactly as you just left it, Myra.
Okay. She goes, over here, I smell blood and she's not here. I'm just really concerned. There's some weird things going on in this here store, and Noral had like a sword at one point. I'm afraid she's gonna hurt herself. But here, look at this. And she shows him the barrel.
Oh, this is exciting. I haven't met Noral, but I love secret rooms. Shall we?
I've met Noral a number of times. If anything's happened to that old cat, there'll be blood on the moon.
You all make your way down the ladder, and it seems much longer than you might have initially expected. It goes on for about 30-40 feet straight down until it opens up into an underground cave. Give me a perception check.
25.
14.
24.
18.
Okay. Myra and Bonesaw, you are the only ones that hear coming from down a small hallway what sounds like arguing. Bonesaw, you can make out a little bit of the words. Only one side of the conversation. No, it was important. Yes, I know, but we needed to. No, it's okay. Just a little bit. Please, no, stop it. It is a small feminine voice.
Oh, Bonesaw's never met Noral. That's right.
Yes.
I hear a sort of small feminine voice down that way, arguing with someone.
That might be Noral. Arguing with someone.
Hello?
Dead silence.
Noral?
Pulling my
We
guns.
haven't met. So you wouldn't know my voice, but I'm here with your friends. My friends too. Also friendly.
Noral? Everything okay?
Yes, everything's fine.
What is this place?
It's I like to come down here. It reminds me of my husband.
Oh.
We smelled blood is the thing.
It's okay. I cut myself a little bit earlier in the shop. You can go back up now.
That's a sense motive.
Yeah, I'd like to.
29.
Terrible.
Oh, 7. Nope.
Yeah, everybody except Bonesaw can't really tell what's going on. Bonesaw, you can tell there is fear, concern in her voice, and she very much does not want you to come down the hall to see her.
Bonesaw starts walking down the hall. Oh, well, sure. We'll go up in just a minute. Are you over here? I just wanted to say hi. We haven't met.
As you turn the corner in the hallway, a gunshot rings out and hits near your head.
Oh,
Was that on purpose?
Noral, damn it, we're not doing anything.
No, please, it's all right. You don't need to shoot. It's okay. There's some silence. No, they're friends.
Friends, yes, that's true.
Noral, we're coming down the hall.
I don't think that's a good...
I hope you're safe.
Please don't... No, there's this sudden exhalation that feels like it goes throughout the entire room. Do you guys proceed down the hallway?
Absolutely.
Yep.
I'm going to
Yep.
proceed down the hallway.
As you enter the room, you see it is much larger, but it is also incredibly well maintained. There are light sconces all along, rows of benches, what appears to be weapon racks. And sitting in the middle is Noral, sitting on a bench, the sword next to her, a smoking gun next to her. She's not wearing the typical flowing robes that you remember she wore. She's wearing a leather outfit that has a gash across the chest.
Oh, shit.
And sitting next to her is a mask. A very familiar looking mask.
Yes.
Specifically, the Bronze Jackal's mask.
You called it!
We've found the jackal
Found the
cave.
jackal cave.
And that's where we're going to go ahead and wrap for tonight.
What an end.
That was a good twist.
Dust and Blood is a Rolling Path production featuring Corinne Hill as Myra Sting, Blake Alfson as our GM, Zach Parker as Maz Copernicus Pryor, Keith Curtis as Jasper Graves, and myself, Gail Parker as Bonesaw. Our theme song is Dust and Blood by Arne Parrott, and other music throughout this recording is provided by Kevin Macleod, Tabletop Audio, Dark Fantasy Studios, and the Desperados 3 original game soundtrack by Filippo Beck Peccoz. Transcripts, detailed sound credits, and more can be found on our website at dustandbloodpod.com. You can follow us on X and Facebook at DustAndBloodPod, or support us through our Patreon at Dust and Blood, where you can join our community Discord and get perks like our behind-the-scenes discussion show, The Roundup. We are so grateful for the support of our fans, people like Haas, Highland, Sleep McDykel, and 50 Sloths of Grey. Dust and Blood releases monthly on the 1st, and our next episode is coming at you on May 1st. Content warnings can be found in every episode description, and we hope you enjoy exploring this fantasy western with us. Thanks for listening.
My eyes shoot open to the early morning sun. I feel that aching, pounding, poking of a bullet in my lungs. Skinny ceiling, bones crunching. I feel that wretched ancient something drag me up to face that coward son of a gun. His face grows wide as he fumbles for his holster. I feel the lead pierce my shoulder, neck, and chest. I scream that I have died 100 times and lived 1,000 years, and I'll be damned if a boy like you's gonna be the best. Yes, I'll be damned if a boy like you's gonna be the best.
I am starting to feel like I'm like dog sitting the whole party or something. Like I feel like I keep on picking you up and dropping you like in your cage, and you just keep on breaking out and getting like in the mud or something. I'm like, no, get back here. I need to clean you off. Just
That was me.
stay.
You're hurting cats.
Yeah.
When Maz is the responsible one, y'all have fucked up.
Yeah.
And I heard anyone. Oh, let me try that again. That was garbage.
He said, did he hurt anyone?
Yeah.
I've
Did he
been
hurt anyone?
transcribing.
The fact that he could squeeze through the tiny door frame was a bit bullshit. You know, he didn't even bust it down. He sucked it all in.
There's
you know?
mechanics for that. You have to move at like half speed and make a check, but
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
you
possible.
can squeeze through.
He was also losing parts of his flesh, so he probably had a lot of lubricant to kill.
Ew, stop talking. Cut that out.
Sorry.
He just shed his skin
Nasty.
on the way through.
oh, gross.
Look, Mom, I'm molting.